Welcome to the first episode of For the Record, hosted by Zach Eisen. Today we will be talking about the 2019 NFL Draft, and I will be giving you my pre-free agency mock draft. This is just a first round mock draft. We can get into the second and third round on a later date, but right now I just want to focus on the first round, pre-free agency, and what I think teams will do. With the first pick in 2019 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Kyler Murray. I know there's been a lot of speculation that they will take Kyler Murray over Josh Rosen, and I think that is true. I think Cliff Kingsbury has fallen in love and chosen his guy, which is Kyler Murray, over the guy that Steve Keim and the organization drafted last year, Josh Rosen, and they will trade Josh Rosen away for a second or third round pick. That leaves San Francisco at number 2, taking Nick Bosa. Very good value at number 2. I think he's the number 1 overall player, but since Arizona wanted Kyler Murray, they pass on Nick Bosa, and he lands in the 49ers' laps. Even though he only played 3 games this year at Ohio State, I believe he will be a day 1 impactful player for the 49ers. At number 3, I can see the Jets trading down here, but I have them taking Josh Allen out of Kentucky. I really loved what he gave us last season. He decided to return this year instead of entering the 2018 NFL Draft and produced 17 sacks. He may be my favorite player outside of Nick Bosa in this entire draft, and the Jets take him at number 3 to add pressure give extra pressure and help free up Leonard Williams' double teams. At number 4, the Oakland Raiders select Quinton Williams. With Kyler Murray off the board, I believe that Quinton Williams is a must-take. The Oakland Raiders were not able to get to the quarterback enough last year, and Quinton Williams should help with their interior pressure and stopping the run. At 5, I think this is a no-brainer, Devin White. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have Quan Alexander as a free agent, and I believe that he will not resign there, giving them a chance to take their next up-and-coming linebacker. I believe Devin White is the best linebacker in this draft. He plays sideline to sideline. It's kind of prototypical now that you need in the NFL, like the Dallas linebackers. This helps Tampa Bay with their rebuild and their but their new head coach, Bruce Arians. At 6, as much as there's been talk that the Giants will not take a quarterback, I believe they do take Dwayne Haskins. Dave Gettleman has been talking about, and Pat Shurmur as well, have been talking about the Kansas City model, meaning that they will have a veteran quarterback and draft a first-rounder, let the guy sit here, then pass the reins to him. I think this is the perfect opportunity for them to take it. If they want to win like they are talking about and don't want to wait for a Tua or a Jake Fromm, this is the guy they should take at number 6. The Jacksonville Jaguars have been rumored to get Nick Foles in free agency, and that's why I think that Juwan Taylor will be the perfect fit. They need to help beef up that O-line so that to give Nick Foles extra protection and let Leonard Fournette run the ball effectively. The Jaguars are striving to return to their 2017 form where they made the AFC Championship game. At 8, I think that the Detroit Lions add another weapon for Matt Stafford, taking T.J. Hawkinson. T.J. Hawkinson has been the number 1 rated tight end for many weeks now, and I believe that he will only impress more people. After an impressive combine, he has shot up the big board, and I think the Detroit Lions take a shot at number 8, trying to add an offensive weapon to their team. At 9, the Buffalo Bills select DJ Metcalf. I think they need a wide receiver as they try to trade Antonio Brown, but DJ Metcalf sitting at 9 is great upside potential, and he can be a really good star for Josh Allen to throw to. At 10, as much as there's been talk that the Denver Broncos now, since they traded for Joe Flacco, will not take a quarterback, I believe that John Elway has fallen in love with Drew Lock and will not pass up on him. Drew Lock has shown potential in college, and the Broncos are willing to take a chance to find their next franchise guy. At number 11, with Rashawn Gary still on the board, the Cincinnati Bengals will take him as the best player available. Rashawn Gary is a freak athlete and played really well in his time at Michigan. I think that he will be a steal at 11, and he'll be a very productive NFL player for the Cincinnati Bengals. Similar situation with the Green Bay Packers. Since they have 2 first-round picks, they are willing to take a guy with more upside, and I think they'll take Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat was unbelievable at the Combine, shooting up draft boards because of his performance. The Green Bay Packers will not be able to pass on him and they will bolster their rushing or their pass pressure attack by adding Montez Sweat. Miami Dolphins. As much as there's been talk that they want a quarterback and they're going to move on from Ryan Tannehill, I believe they take Brian Burns out of Florida State. Brian Burns, similar to Montez Sweat and Rashawn Gary, is a freak athlete and will really help that defense. They really want to move off of Robert Quinn, and this will be a perfect replacement for him. The Atlanta Falcons at 14 should select Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver will bring that interior pressure and can pair up with Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett is working on the franchise tag, and if the Falcons do not want to re-sign him the following year, this could be a great replacement for him at number 14 with a player who was projected to go number 1 before the season started. At 15, I believe that the Washington Redskins select Byron Murphy, a future replacement for Josh Norman and a current pairing for him. This will allow them to have 2 shutdown corners and match up better against the top receivers in the division like Odell Beckham Jr. and Amari Cooper. I think that Washington will eventually cut Josh Norman a year or 2 down, and Byron Murphy will slide into that number 1 position. Carolina Panthers. They should take Noah Fant. Noah Fant was another one of those guys who had a great combine, and this shot him into the top 20. I believe the Panthers need an outside guy that Cam Newton can throw to, because he has that check down guy in Christian McCaffrey, and Noah Fant is a wide receiver and a tight end's body. Cleveland Browns, Cody Ford. I think they'll take Cody Ford here because they just traded away Kevin Zeitler to the New York Giants. They need an interior lineman to help protect their future quarterback in Baker Mayfield, and this is the ideal pick for them. Minnesota Vikings will take Andre Dillard. Their offensive line was atrocious this year. Kirk Cousins was under pressure constantly, and the receivers were not allowed to. They didn't have enough time for the receivers to get open. This is why they need to take Andre Dillard to help beef up that offensive line and make sure that it's not a repeat this year. The Tennessee Titans will select N'Keal Harry to pair up with Corey Davis and give Marcus Mariota in his prove-it year 2 solid wide receivers as weapons for the organization to assess, is he the franchise quarterback. The Pittsburgh Steelers will select Greedy Williams. Greedy Williams was the projected number 1 cornerback in this draft and a previous top 5 pick going into this year. This is great value for the Steelers at 20, especially after all their secondary woes of the past year. They were getting torched by team after team, and they really need that secondary help. Greedy Williams will provide that immediate help. The Seattle Seahawks, Christian Wilkins. The Seattle Seahawks have always prided themselves on playing great defense, and Christian Wilkins will help that. I think that the Seattle Seahawks are moving into a run and D team, and this is why they need to beef up their defensive line to make sure that they can stop the run and run the ball on their own. Baltimore Ravens, Hakeem Butler. Hakeem Butler is a great wide receiver out of Iowa State. I think that they need to get weapons for Lamar Jackson to throw to if they want to prove that he can be a great thrower in this league. He has the legs and the defense, but they have Lamar Jackson's legs and their defense, but they need to make sure that Lamar Jackson has weapons to throw to. At 23, the Houston Texans select Jonah Williams. Jonah Williams is unbelievable value. He's been projected to go as high as 3 to the New York Jets. I think that Houston, who had the worst offensive line, needs to take an offensive lineman in the first round, and Jonah Williams provides that immediate help and great value for them. Oakland Raiders, Garrett Bradbury out of NC State. Garrett Bradbury has been one of those guys who's been floating around between the first and second round. I think that after the combine, he will move up into the first round, and Oakland Raiders will take a shot at him. I know they took Colton Miller in last year's draft, but John Gruden prides himself on running the ball and having big guys to run behind. Garrett Bradbury helps that immediately. Philadelphia Eagles, Joshua Jacobs. I could see them getting Le'Veon Bell or Tevin Coleman in free agency. But if they strike out, Joshua Jacobs out of Alabama will be a perfect fit for their offense. Carson Wentz, Josh Jacobs, Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, and Dallas Goedert would be a great lineup for the Eagles to roll out on kickoffs. Indianapolis Colts, Nasir Adderley. I think the Colts really need a guy to pair with Malik Hooker in the back end of the defense, and Nasir Adderley has been only climbing up draft boards since the start of the season. He's unbelievable talent out of Delaware, and I think he's a can't miss prospect, and the Colts are getting him at 26, which is amazing. Again, the Raiders on the clock at 27. They will take Devin Bush Jr. Devin Bush is like Devin White, is a sideline-to-sideline linebacker. He will be immediate help to that poor linebacking core in Oakland and will help bolster that defense with the addition of him and Quinton Williams. At 28, the LA Chargers will look for their future quarterback in Daniel Jones. Phillip Rivers is getting up there in age, and I know he came off one of his best seasons, but I believe that they need to look for a guy to replace him, and they can follow, like the Giants have said, the Kansas City model while taking a first-round pick. He can sit behind Phillip Rivers for 2 or 3 years and learn the offense, and then when it's time, he can come out there and perform. The 29th pick, my Kansas City Chiefs. The best player available for their needs is DeAndre Baker, cornerback out of Georgia. DeAndre Baker is a physical, shutdown cornerback who's been in the first round this whole entire year. I think that DeAndre Baker will be a great fit next to Kendall Fuller. He should be able to guard wide receiver ones, letting Kendall Fuller move into the slot. I think the new defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, who loves physical guys, will fall in love with DeAndre Baker, and the Chiefs will not be able to pass on him at 29. The Green Bay Packers at 30. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, safety, Florida. Their secondary has been improved in the last draft by taking Jackson out of Louisville, and their 2 corners have been pretty solid, but they do need safety help, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson provides that. At 31, I believe the Los Angeles Rams will take Clelin Ferrell. Ed Clemson. The Los Angeles Rams will potentially lose Dante Fowler Jr. and Ndamukong Suh to free agency. That's why they need to beef up their defensive line, with Clelin Ferrell coming off the edge and Aaron Donald will be a deadly duo. New England Patriots. Jerry Tillery. I think Jerry Tillery will help the Patriots because they might lose Trey Flower in free agency. Their defensive line always performs well, and I think Jerry Tillery will be able to shut down the run and help New England Patriots shut down offenses. That was my first mock draft pre-free agency. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thanks for listening.